Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome all of you to the lecture Advanced Software Engineering and Technology. In previous lecture, we have discussed about analysis, and today we are going to discuss about system analysis, system design. First, we will see the introduction. System design is the transformation of analysis model into the system design. In previous lecture we seen how we have made analysis with the help of some UML diagram, state machine diagram, object diagram, entity diagram and all. After doing analysis, we have to transform that all analysis into the system design, so our software will be prepared. Now during the system design, developer define the design goal of the project and decompose the system into the smaller subsystem that can be realized by individual team. We have collected data, we have elicited information. After that, we have made some analysis and we have huge number of informations, component functions and all. Now that is very complex to give the all tasks to the developers, to a single person or to a single programmer. For that, we have to find the solutions, and solution is you have to make components in that, smallest component in that means decomposition. We have to do decomposition according to the function, according to the uh, system. If there multiple system are connected together in a single system, then we have to make separate to that system and distribute that work to the individual teams or individual programmers. Developer task is that to make the system decomposition, to make the part in the system, then that will be understand to the single programmer to implement. He or she will be implement that code if we give a limited task, a easy task to the developer. Developer also selects strategy for building the system, such as hardware software strategy, the persistent data management strategy, the global control flow, the access control policy, and the handling of boundary conditions. During the decomposition, we have to keep in mind as a developer, the system should be properly divided, properly decomposed, means the segment we are doing, that is there we have to understand the boundary of that object, boundary of that function, and from that boundary we have to make the component separate. And the flow of the software development should not be changed, the flow of design should not be changed, so we have to follow this strategy to make the control flow of the information and data management. The result of system design is a model that includes subsystem decomposition and clear description of each of these strategies. System design means the model. We have to make a models, some model as a subsystem. How much subsystems are there in a system? All that we have to make a different kind of a model or a similar kind of a model, but we have to do the model in that and decompose, and a clear description of this strategy we have to explain, we have to tell to our team member, to our programmer. As a developer, these are our responsibilities. System design is not algorithmic. Developer have to make trade-off among the many design goals that often conflict with each other. Now, from which direction we have to start system design? We have collected all the information. First, which component we have to design? There should not be confusion. We have to do a proper design. because there is not a single algorithm to do the design as a programming has. There is no a proper algorithm for designing. We have to follow multiple algorithms, we have to follow multiple experience thought to design a good quality of softwares. They also cannot anticipate all design issues that they will face because they do not yet have a clear pictures of the solution domain. We have just heard the information from the client or user given us information to develop the software. Now we have a idea how software will be look after develop, how our software will function, how our software will work. This is the information in our brain only about the solution domain, about the software, but not a clear idea. If the information we have collected is more and complex, then there in our mind there will be confusion about that implementation, about that software solution domain. The system design is decomposed into several activities. Therefore we have to make the system in a decomposed format. Means as per the activities in the software, all activities we will give to a separate programmer to work on that, each addressing part of the overall problem of decomposing the system. First, identify the design goal. We have to identify the goal. What is the goal behind this system design? Developer identify and prioritize the qualities of the system that they should optimize. Design the initial subsystem. After identifying the design goal, then we have to initialize the subsystem decomposition. Developers decompose the system into small part based on the use case and analysis model. Developer use standard architecture system as a starting point during the activities. Developer uses standard architecture styles as a starting point during this activity, during the decomposition of the system. Refining the subsystem decomposition to address the design goal. Next is, after making decomposition, we have to refine the subsystem decomposition to address the design goal, to achieve our design goal, to find is there our design is proper or not. We have to refine that, we have to revisit to the decomposed design. The initial decomposition usually does not satisfy all design goal. Developers refine it until all goals are satisfied. Until our goal is not achieved, till that we have to refine that, we have to refine that design again and again. We have to make the proper design of the decomposed part. Okay, is it understood? Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
once we have designed a proper subsystem, then we have to go to the addressing the design goal. During the system design, we identify design goals, decompose the system into subsystem and refine the subsystem, decompose unit all design goal and address. Section of the self and legacy component. Shape of the self and legacy component means from where we have to make the subsystem that should be legal. Suppose we want to design a system as ATM machine. Now to do the transaction through the ATM machine, we need ATM card is a different component, okay, and ATM machine is the different subsystem, but they both, when come together, then we can do the transaction. Without ATM card we cannot do the transactions. But nowadays the systems are upgrade. Instead of the ATM card, we are using the biometric like face fingerprint. There are bio ATM cards. Of the self or legacy component realize specific subsystem more economically. The essential subsystem decomposition is adjust to accommodate them. This is economical system. Suppose we have made the system at proper decomposition as proper boundary, we have made the uh, system separate from one system, then this is very economically to design the component. Mapping of subsystem to the hardware. Now, is that system we have designed is suitable for a particular hardware? Because we have to also understood the hardware, for which hardware we are designing the software. We know our ambitions, our aim is to design very big software, very good software, but that software is to be affordable to the customer, to the client. Therefore we have to map our subsystem to a particular hardware. When the system is deployed on a several nodes, additional subsystems are required to address reliability of performance issue. Now you see, suppose we have designed a big software, and that software is installed on the system, and system is consist of various nodes, various subsystem. Then the performance, we have to keep in mind, the performance of system should not be decreased. The performance of system should be a constant for single system as well as multiple systems. Additional subsystems are required for addressing reliability or performance issue. Design of a persistence data management infrastructure. Design a persistent data management infrastructure. Managing the state that outlive a single execution of a system has an impact on overall system performance and lead to the identification of one or more storage subsystem. Suppose we have designed very good system. In that system there are many subsystem. Suppose there are 10 subsystem. Okay, system 1, system 2, system 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. These all system are in a suppose single system. From this list of systems, suppose this system is not a good system, then this system will create barrier in all the executions of the system. Therefore the performance of system we have to check for all subsystems, that should be proper. Otherwise it identify difficulties into the whole system. A specification of an access control policy. Shared objects are protected so that user access to them is controlled. Access control impact how objects are distributed within a subsystem. We have to also consider the policy of specification of access control. Means who will give the password, and all password where will be stored, that we have to also make in the policy of the design, in the policy of the design goal. During the uh, documentation, sign off document, on the sign off document we have to write in that the access control policy, and that should be considered at the time of designing the subsystem. Now we are giving the uh, task in distributed manner to all the teams of the programmer. Okay, now we want to collect all these codes, collect all these subsystem into the single subsystem. Now there is problem for access control. Who will control that system, because system is distributed in the subsystems. To collect all these subsystem, we have to make the policy to shared object are protected so that user access to them in a control. Access control impact how objects are distributed within a subsystems. Design of the goal control flow determines the sequence of operation impact the interface of the subsystem. Design of the global control flow determines the sequence of operation impact on interface of the subsystem. Now just we have taken an example of the 10 subsystems. From the one of the subsystem if fail, then it will impact on all the interface of the system. Therefore, to control flow, we have to also consider the control access policy. Control access policy. How much admin will be there in the system? This admin we have to design properly. Once we have designed admin properly, then the user of the system, then users of the subsystem, we have to parallelly design in that. Handling a boundary condition. Now again we are at the boundary conditions. Once all subsystems have been identified, developers decide on the order in which the individual components are started and shut down. Uh, we have to design properly boundaries, because there is the possibility work will not be distributed properly. To distribute properly work, this is also important conditions, boundary conditions. So developer decide on the order in which the individual component are started and shut down. As a developer, we have to decide the control flow policy. From in that policy we have to write how a subsystem will start and how a subsystem will be end at the solution domain. An overview of subsystem design activities. Do you have any question till addressing design goal? Yes, do you have any question? Is it understood? Addressing design goal.
No questions here.
Then we are going to discuss an overview of subsystem design activities. Design goal guide the decision to be made by the developer, especially when trade-offs are needed. Developers divide the system into manageable pieces to deal with the complexity. Each subsystem is assigned to a team and realized independently. In order for this to be possible, though the developers need to address system-wide issue when decompositions the system. In particular, they need to address these following issues. There we will face some issues, we will face some problem during the making the decomposition or dividing the system into the subsystem. Therefore, there are some issues like hardware software mapping, how we will hardware map, how we will software map, what is the hardware configuration of the system. There we have to ask our questions to ourselves and write down on this, and then talk with our team, our programmers team, which node is responsible for which functionality during the making decomposition into the system. Suppose we want to withdraw money from ATM machine. Okay, then who will do the transaction? User will do transaction or manager will perform these functions. We have to find proper node is responsible for which functionality. How is the communication between the node realized? And also, suppose there are two nodes, then how these two nodes will communicate to each other? As suppose this is ATM card and this is ATM machine, then how in between ATM card and ATM machine communication will be happen? There should be one actor as a user. Actor will take this card and insert this card into the ATM machine, then ATM machine will be activated. So similarly, we have to realize how is the communication between the nodes, as well as which services are realized using existing software component. And now suppose this is our ATM machine, and in this ATM machine which functions are there? Is there function to check the balance? Is there functions to withdraw the money? Is there any functions to add the money in this system? Is there a functions to take the loan from the bank? Similar kind of services we have to realize using the existing software components. During the system design, we have to consider this point. How are these components encapsulated? Again, these components are there, and beside this component, who take the controls on this component, we have to also consider. Addressing hardware or software mapping issue often lead to the defining of an additional subsystem dedicated to moving data from one node to another, dealing with the concurrency and reliability issue of the self component enable developer to realize complex services more economically. Of self component, some of the component are not in a use, but this component, when we have to extend our functionality, in that case we have to use this component. Example, suppose we have just one computer and one printer. Okay, then printer we will connect directly to our computer and take the printout. But suppose we have multiple computer and single computer, in that case we have to use off shelf component to enables such a services, and service should be economically. If we share that printer, if we share our system to all the systems, then this will be economically. Similarly, there we have to consider the off-cell component, subsystem dedicated to moving data from one node to another node, as well as we have to address the hardware suppose there are 5 computers and only a single printers, then we have to share this hardware with the help of software. So the software should be designed like that. There we have to design the component. Our printer should be share or should not be share. Both component we have to design in the software development. User interface package and database management system are prime example of off-shelf component. User interface package and database management system. Do you know database management system as well as interface packages? These are the examples of off-shelf component. Components, however, should be encapsulated to minimize the dependency on a particular component. A competing vendor may offer a better product in the future and you want the option to switch. So during the system design, we have to consider the future of our software. When there any new function is came in market, in that case our system should be switched on that function, on that component. That is also we have to consider in our system design, as well as on which software this software is depend. This is also we have to design. Sometime uh, some software require some add-on, some plugins like Java, C Sharp, C++. They're required to implement. Like Android required Java. To implement Android, there we required Java. Similar kind of software are encapsulated, and therefore we have to design encapsulations design in the system designs. And we should be switched when there is the additional function in the market. We should be switched our design towards the new component, towards the new function. Data management, which data should be persistent, where should persistent data be stored, how are they accessed. These type of questions we have to ask during the system design, during the subsystem design. uh, where you should persistent data be stored and how they access. Suppose uh, Flipkart or Amazon's website, people suppose are commenting on a particular product, then where this comment is stored in the database, and how the analysis we have to perform on the comment. Is there suppose negative comments, suppose there are some positive comments, therefore we have to do the analysis of positive as well as negative comment on the e-commerce websites. To do the analysis, to do the classification in that comment, we have to store that comment into our database. So where should we persist data be stored and how are they accessed? Okay, we will store that into our website, but how we will access that data to perform the analysis, or how we will identify the name of who is writing the comments, who who has written comments on the uh, Flipkart or Amazon or our e-commerce website, we have to find their names. Then how we will access their names? This is also we have to consider in the system design. Persistent data represent a bottleneck in the system on many different fronts. Most functionality in a system is concerned with creating or manipulating persistent data. Persistent data represent a bottleneck. So like this data is there. So the most functionality in a system is concerned with the creating, manipulating persistent data. On e-commerce website there are several comments, and they are best example of persistent data. Then how this data we will, because this is like a bottleneck, this increase like this comment until our website is working, till this data will be increased. Therefore we have to properly store such type of data, so that we will easily access, we will easily make the analysis on that. For this reason, access to the data should be fast and reliable. If the retrieving data is in a slow, the whole system will be slow. Suppose the comment on the side, comment on e-commerce site, if increase, these comment will be make some barrier in the e-commerce website, so the e-commerce website will become slow and our product will not sell that much how much we want. This is the problem. If retrieving data is slow, the whole system will be slow. If the data corruptions is likely, complete system failure is likely. If data is corrupted there, some our data, our web product if corrupted by some comments, then our whole system will be fail, it will be not workable. These issues must be addressed consistent at the system level. Often this lead to do the selection of a database management system and of an additional subsystem decided to be managed of persistent data. Therefore we have to decide the proper database management system. We have to use proper database management system, which data and which at which location in which table we have to store, so that this data will not create any barrier in the software, in the website which we are going to suppose design. Access control. Who can access which data? Can access control change dynamically? Suppose there is the access password we have given to the admin. That password should change day by day, date wise, that should be changed or not. That we have to decide into the access control policy. How is the access control specified and realized? Access control and security are sub-wide issues, system-wide issues. The access control must be consistent across the system. In other words, the policy used to specify who can and cannot access certain data should be the same access all subsystems. Means during the system design we have to also consider the system boundaries, subsystem boundaries and their controls. Some of the information is necessary to access to all the subsystem, to all the users, but some of the information is confidential, and that should be only accessible to the admin or to the managers. Therefore we have to make their properly policy to access control. Control flow. How does the system sequence operations? Means one system is depends upon another system is depends upon again next system. So the control flow we have to manage, and if some system is fail, then other subsystem should not be fail. Therefore we have to make proper control flow of that systems. Is the system event driven? Can it handle more than one user interactions at a time? These questions we have to ask, and accordingly we have to design the systems. Suppose I am giving lecture with this camera. Is it possible to use this similar camera by another faculty or another teacher to deliver another lectures? You are listening me with this camera, you are looking me with this camera, you are looking this presentation through this computer. Now is it possible using same system, camera, computers? Some other faculty deliver their lecture to another class. This should be considered in the system design. The choice of control flow has an impact on the interface of subsystem. If an event-driven control flow is selected, the choice of control flow has an impact on the interface of subsystem. Means which system is depends on which system, this make the impact on the subsystem. If an event drive control flow is selected, subsystem will provide event handler. There we have to use event handler in the subsystem. If the threads are selected, subsystem must guarantee mutual exclusion in critical sections. Boundary conditions. How the system initialize and shut down. This boundary condition is needed there. Suppose you are the manager of the bank, then you will start all systems in your banks, or some other clerks will start like cashier or some other inquiry counter. There are various counter in the bank. All these persons will start their computer, or you only start their computer. This we have to consider at the boundary condition. Who will shut down this computer, who will start this computer, or who will start this software, who will end this software, who will share the information from this software, who will uh, close this software. All these are the boundary conditions we have to consider. How are the exceptional access handled? System initialization and shutdown often represent much of the complexity of a system. System initialization and shutdown often represent much of the complexity of system. The in bank only the manager control to all the system. Only manager give the password. Daily password is there which only to the manager, and manager gives to their employee similar password or a different password. So this is very complex because we need their strong security, and therefore this is complex. There is no solutions other than this. If our system is similar, then we have to find the boundary conditions to shut down and exception handling have an impact on the interface of all the subsystems. This is important activity of system design, UML activity diagram. You have to draw this diagram in the practical. Figure 7.1 depict the activity of system design. Each activity address one of the issue we describe above. Addressing any one of these issues can lead a change in subsystem decomposition and raising new issues. As you will see in the chapter, system design is a highly interactive activity that result in the identification of new subsystem, the modification of existing subsystem, and the system-wide revision that impact on all subsystem. You look at this. First is the define the design goal. First we have to define the design goal. Once we have defined, then define the subsystem. We have to define the subsystem decomposition. We have to make into that, and then to map the subsystem to a hardware software platform, then manage the persistent data, then define the access control policies, then select the global control flow, then describe the boundary conditions, and then implement the subsystem. After that, our system will be implemented and system will be defined. This is the UML activity diagram. All these components we studied just in this lecture. If you have any doubt, any question on this, an overview of subsystem design activities, you can ask. Do you have any question? Is it understood? Do you have any question? Is it understood? Overview of subsystem, define goal, define subsystem, mapping hardware software, manage persistent data, define control access policies, control flow, describe boundary conditions, and implementation of this subsystem. Is there any ambiguity? Is it clear? Is it understood? If not, then next one is the concept UML deployment diagram. Concept of UML deployment diagram. UML deployment diagram are used to depict the relationship among the runtime component and the nodes. Components are self-contained entities that provide the services to another component or the factors. UML deployment diagram are used to depict the relationship among the runtime components. Suppose there are 5 components, then all these 5 components are connected to each other, but which component is connected first to second component, this is we have to define into the UML deployment diagram. In UML deployment diagram, we have to create the relationship. What is the relation between this A and the B component, and C and D F component? All these are related to each other. Therefore, the component are self-contained entities that provide the services to another component or the factors. This A, B component, C component, D and F component will not start until this A will act. This A will work as a actor. So what is the relationship in this? There we have to design the UML activity, UML deployment diagram. A web server, for example, is a component that provides services to the web browser. We know web server, websites are stored on the web servers. A web browser such as Safari is a component that provides the services to the user. If we have, if we don't have the browser, we will not access the web pages. We will not able to access the website, web portals on our computer. we are able to access these because of there is the component. Which component is here? Here is a Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer. All these are the web browsers. Therefore, we are able to access the web services. A node is a physical device or an execution environment in which the components are executed. A system is composed of interacting runtime components that can be distributed among the several nodes. Now you know the nodes. Node is a physical device or execution environment which components are executed. Node may be printer, node may be hard disk, node may be pen drive, node may be ATM card in the software development process. Okay, it execute. And a system is a component. A system is a component of interacting runtime component that can be distributed among the several nodes. Suppose one node is connected here, camera is connected here. So to show the output which is collected from this camera, my face, my body is collected from this camera. To show that output, there we require the runtime component, that is the system. Furthermore, a node can be contain another node. Okay, for example, a device can contain an execution environment. In UML deployment diagram, nodes are represented by boxes containing components icon, and node can be stereotyped to denote the physical devices or executions environment. In UML deployment diagram, nodes are represented by the box. Means like these nodes are shown, and there is the stereotype to denote the physical devices execution environment. Now you see this camera is connected there. Suppose this is camera. Okay, this camera suppose connected to this computer, then this computer should be in a stereotype because this is the execution node. This camera will be execute here and show the output. The communication path between the node are represented by solid line. We know their solid line we have just seen in previous practical. The communication is in the solid line. The protocol used by the two nodes to communicate can be indicated with a stereotype on the communication path. Figure 7.2 depicts an example of an deployment diagram with two web browser accessing a web servers. The web server is turn access a database server. We can see from the diagram that the browsers do not directly access the database at any time. Web server is the turn access a database server. We can see for the diagram that the web browser cannot directly access the database any time. You look at this diagram. This figure 7.2, a UML deployment diagram, represents the allocation of component to different nodes. Web browser on PCs and MCs and Macs can access the web servers that provide the information from a database. Device, my Mac, this is the web server, and Safari is the web browser. To access this to another device, host device PCs. In PCs there is Internet Explorer to access this control. We know this is the component. This is used for the extra component. Collaborative component is there. Therefore, this is the Internet Explorer will access with the help of HTTP. Device, unique host, web servers, device, unique host, database. Web server, browser and database. To access this database we require web servers In database, in web server, data is stored in database. This web information is stored, and this will be accessed. This web server will distribute the data to the Safari browser as well as to the internet browser, or if there any other Chrome, this will be accessed there, or if there again another data, this will be accessed from the database. Data is accessed with the help of web server from the database. This is the UML deployment diagram, which representing the allocation of component to the different nodes. There are two nodes, 1 and 2. Two nodes. These two nodes access the data from the another node, database node, and there required some assistant of the web server, assistant control of the web server. From the web server, this data will access and distribute to the Safari browser or the internet browser, Mac OS or the Windows OS or Linux OS or some other Android OS can be accessed this server and this database. Is it understood? Yes. Do you have any question? Figure 7.3, refine the view of web server component UML component diagram. Web server provide an HTTP interface and require a JDBC interface. The HTTP interface is realized by the HTTP server classes. Do you have any question on this diagram or on the overview of system design activities? If you have any question regarding this, please ask. Otherwise, we will stop here. Yes. Do you have any question? Okay, thank you. Have a nice day. You can join another lecture. Bye. Thank you.